So, how do you like to start the pre-production process?
Well, preferably it's in a rehearsal studio somewhere.
Yes.
It rarely happens well, the more seasoned musicians you have, the less pre-production you need, generally speaking. And it also means that you can kind of forget about the rehearsal and you can go right into the studio and work it out there. But you really need seasoned players who they know what they're doing and they can adapt really fast.
It's also kind of a luxury, right, to be able to do this and rent out a studio to practice your song before you record it.
It happens more than you think, but
Okay.
again, it's one of those things where, if budget is an issue, that's not what you want to do.
Right.
Yes.
But for most people, now again, we're talking about seasoned players where you could work something out, in a few hours and then cut it. I have a friend that was just working with Daryl Hall over the last week, and he said they would cut a song a day, and they would start with not knowing anything. They never heard
Wow.
the song before, and they would start. By the end of the day, they'd have a basic track.
Oh, wow.
But again, this is his band that's been playing with them for 20 years or more.
Yeah.
So, but for most of us humans, that doesn't happen. And, I spent 3 months, 4 months in pre-production working stuff out. And, again, what does that mean, pre-production? What does it mean working things out? Well, it means getting everything musically tight so all the instruments work with one another, and also getting the arrangement together, because a lot of times the arrangement is gratuitous, let's say,
Yeah.
where you have real long intros and
Right.
solos and stuff like that. You just have to go in and cut some things.
So would you say you're kind of doing a lot of what a conductor would do with an orchestra, kind of pulling them together and helping them?
Well, there's even more like arranging, right, as well.
A producer is an arranger,
Yeah.
for the most part, and really everyone kind of looks to the producer to, if nothing else, come up with ideas that maybe the artist didn't think of. But the ideas are kind of like, well, let's make everything work together and let's get some things out of the way, or let's put some things there where they weren't before. So it's really a collaboration to make things work. The reason why a producer is really effective in this role, more so than players, is the fact that when you're playing, you really can't hear what's going on.
You're doing your part.
You're
most
doing
of
your
the time.
part. And if you're singing, you're just a singer, again, you're concentrating on yourself, on your own performance.
Right.
You're not hearing everybody else.
And you should be.
So, yeah, right. So it's nice to have somebody that has the whole project in mind, the whole song in mind.
Yeah.
And that's why a producer can be so effective, if the producer knows what to look for. And,
Yes.
and that's what I'm going to be showing today, some of the real basics of pre-production, what we generally do. So as a result, we didn't spend a lot of time getting sounds. It sounds pretty good, but we didn't spend nearly as much time as I normally would have putting basic tracks together, putting the sounds for basic tracks together, because we're more concerned with performances today. So we just want to be able to hear everything, and then we want to be able to go in and tighten things up. That's what we'll be doing.
All right, great.
And you haven't heard this song before today? Or?
No. I haven't met the guys. I haven't heard the song. And sometimes that's better, because you can get demoitis, as they would call it. If you have a demo,
yeah.
you can really sort of fall in love with the demo. That's happened to me for sure. It happens to everybody, where sometimes you kind of forget the best interests of the song and the artist because you listen to this demo so many times. So many times just hearing something for the first time is helpful.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. How it's gonna happen during the show? We're gonna hear the song first, and then we're gonna go over there and meet them, right?
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're just going to have them play it down. We're going to record it. And the reason why is I want to make sure that everybody can hear an A-B. So
Okay.
here's what it is before, and
Yeah.
here's what it is after, when we kind of work it out.
Okay.
And again, sometimes there's huge differences, and sometimes not so much, and it really depends on the players and how much they have worked out already.
Yeah.
But even subtle changes can make a difference, where suddenly you find that, oh, yeah, that's tight. Oh, they didn't get this one part together, and then again, it's in the heat of battle. You usually don't think of those things, and that's what a producer does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So should we have them play it down?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
All right, guys, you're on. So here's what I want you to do. Let's play the song, and I'm going to record it. Then we're going to come out and we're going to meet everybody. So, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, stand by. And we're rolling.
Face to face with nothing to say, but stay and face our fate or run and fade away. Take your sword, take your aim, let it rain. It's you and I until it caves. 'Cause baby, this is love and war, and I'm taking the bad little skies when they break down all our walls. Shoot arrows through our hearts together when it falls apart. When they break down all our walls, shoot arrows through our hearts together when it falls apart. The city of Troy, Joan of Arc, destroyed for more than gold and fall of Rome, brick by brick, to the floor. Strike us all you can, light the match. Life's not fair, we feel no pain until the end. 'Cause baby, this is love and war, and I'm taking the bad little skies when they break down all our walls. Shoot arrows through our hearts together when it falls apart, apart, apart. Cause baby, this is love and war, and I'm taking the bad little skies when they break down all our walls. Shoot arrows through our hearts together when it falls apart. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Maybe this is love, yeah, oh yeah. Oh, maybe this is love, yeah, oh yeah. Maybe this is love and war, yeah, oh yeah. Maybe this is love, yeah, oh yeah. Maybe this is love, yeah, oh yeah. Maybe this is love and war.
Short and sweet. Good one, guys. Yeah.
No, even though, you probably did this really fast getting the tones, I really like the warmth that you achieved. And, it's a good balance, I guess, to like listen to everyone. I like the instruments that are involved.
Well, normally what I would do, if this was a tracking session where we had some time, I'd have a couple of effects out. There's one right now on the vocal, but I'd probably have it on the other instruments as well, just so it felt more like a record, because everybody seems to be able to play better to that.
Yeah.
In pre-production, it works better if it's just the opposite, if it's very stark and naked, because you do want to hear all the little inconsistencies.
Yeah. It tends to polish things a little too much sometimes, maybe.
Yeah. And, I'd compress things differently and whatever. But again, the purpose of what we're trying to do is just hear things in a very stark and naked sort of kind of way.
You don't want to blur over the imperfections. You want to hear them so you can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Cool. Any first impressions of the song?
They're great players. That
Yeah.
pretty much have the song together. It's, some very small things that we're going to be working on, and just listening to the song for the first time. Let me mute them over here. My first impressions were, okay, let's make sure that, absolutely sure that the bass and the drums are locking together. They're pretty close, but let's be absolutely sure. So that's the first thing. And let's make sure that the guitar is locking with the drums, because there's a tom fill that he plays, a tom line that he plays with the whole thing. Let's make sure that the guitar works with that really well. So those are the things, and then the keyboard on top of it, just to make sure that everybody's playing
Together.
well. It's not with their together. A lot of times what players will do is they'll say, okay, I'm playing a G chord, I'm playing an F chord, and I'm playing a C chord, but their rhythms might be different all the time. So what we're going to try to do is make sure that the rhythms are consistent and they work with everybody else.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's the big thing right now.
Yeah, cool.